All right. Welcome everyone, and today is day three. Today, what we will do is we will actually start the practical work. So we will learn how can we set up a lab. What we will do is we already learned about what is a server, the new features that we have in Windows Server 2019, the different additions that we have. So basically, we got the basic knowledge that was needed. So what we will do now is we will actually start setting up our lab by looking at this diagram in here. Make sure that you consider it as a real life lab. Consider it like a real life lab. So what we will do is we will consider it like a real life lab. So we have one office in San Francisco and we have one office in New York. So we have two different offices, and what we will do is we will actually connect them together, and we will also install and configure Windows Server 2019. And once we configure it, we will see how can we enable different features that we have within Server 2019. These two computers that you see here, they are Windows 10 machines. So this is Windows 10 at New York office. These two are the machines in San Francisco office. So you can see that this is one of the servers, that is domain controller, file server, and then we have another domain controller in here. So that is how we will set up our lab. So this is our lab. So how are we going to do it? We are going to set up a virtualized environment for our San Francisco office and for our New York office. So for both offices, we will set up a virtualized environment. So most of you in here need to learn the basics, right? So some of you already know what is like VirtualBox, what is VMware, and all those kind of things. They are virtualization technology, and we already learned about those in our Network Plus class about virtualization, right? So what we will do is we will do virtualization, and we will install the operating systems. I will show you how can you download VirtualBox, how can you download Windows Server 2019, and we will start setting up. So let's do it. So we will start from this server. Let's set up this server. So very first thing that I will do is I will go into google.com and we will find a virtualized software. Okay, so the virtualized software we will look for is called VirtualBox. So we will go and download VirtualBox. Why are we downloading VirtualBox? Because VirtualBox is free. We don't have to pay anything. It is a free software. So we don't have to pay anything. That is why we will download VirtualBox. Click on download. Then you can see you have different versions. You have version for Windows, you have version for Linux and other operating system. We want it for Windows. So once you click there, you can see that it is now downloading it. So once it is downloaded, we will click on it, and then after clicking on it, we will run the setup. So this is VirtualBox 6.0, which is the version. It is a virtualization software. Click on next. We will not change anything here. Click on next and simply yes, install. That's it. So we will install VirtualBox in the machine. All of you need to install VirtualBox in your computer. Okay, in your computer you need to install VirtualBox the same way I am installing. The same way I am setting a lab, you will also set up a lab so that you can learn better. more you practice, more you learn things. All right? Once you are done, your virtualization software is now ready. Virtualization software is now ready. So, so once we are done with the VirtualBox, you can see that now the tool is ready for us. We will go through these options later. So let's go and see how can we download and install Windows Server 2019. Most of you will ask, hey, I want to install Windows Server 2019. From where do I get the operating system? So in order to get the operating system for Windows Server 2019, you can simply do what? You can go to Google and say Windows Server 2019 download, and once you do that, you can see that you have this link here. Try Windows Server 2019 on Microsoft Evaluation Center. So once you click in there, it will basically take you to Microsoft website. It is like a trial version for 180 days. So you have it for 180 days. You can actually extend it too. So what we will do is in here, we will click ISO because we want the image, right? We want the image of this operating system. Click on continue. Now you have to provide some information in here. So basically what you do is you provide some information here. First name, last name, company name. Company name is, for example, I will say testing. I am testing it. Company size is this much, and then job title, anything that you want, right? So basically you have to fill this. You have to fill this information in order to download. Click on continue. Now you select your language. What language do you want to use? English, and click on download. Now you can see that the download is started. It is 4.9 GB of image. So basically it is going to take some time because it needs to be downloaded. While that is downloading, let's go and create our virtual machines. So what I will do is I will click on new. When you click on new, the very first thing that you do is you have to type the name. So if I go back to my lab, you can see what is the name. The name is primary domain controller. So this is my primary domain controller. So I will type primary domain controller, and then in here, which location do you want to install this operating system? Which location do you want to install this operating system? So in my C drive, I have a space. I will use this. So this folder, VirtualBox VM, is going to be the location of my operating system. My operating system will install here, right? And then type, what kind of operating system is that? It is Microsoft Windows. Are we installing Linux? No. Are we installing IBM, Mac? No. We are installing Microsoft Windows. So I will click on that, and then you see, are you installing Windows XP 2003, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10? What are we installing? We are installing 2016 or 2019? Which one are we installing? 19. And are we installing 32-bit or 64-bit? Why there is no 32-bit in the list? Windows Server 2019 does not come in 32-bit. So we have 64-bit. So now click on next. Now it is asking us, how much RAM do you want to use? How much RAM do you want to use for this Windows Server 2019? So in my physical machine, this is my physical machine, okay? in my physical machine, I have 64 GB RAM. I have how much RAM? 64 GB RAM. So whenever you install, make sure you check your physical machine, how much RAM you have. Alright, so based on that, I will select. So 2048 MB is equal to 2 GB. It is good for me. I will do it. I have enough. But if you have less memory, you can even use 1 GB. The performance will not be best, but again, for testing purpose for your lab, it will work. It will work, but the performance will not be good. All right, so same way we chose RAM. Now it's time to choose hard disk, virtual hard disk. The virtual hard disk, we are going to do what? We are going to choose the virtual hard disk. So in here, how much space I have? The total space I have is 250 GB. Free space on this physical computer I have is 171 GB remaining. Alright, so what I will do is I will basically use this 50 GB and click on create. Once you click on create, you have to understand that there are different types of virtual hard disks. One is VDI, one is VHD, one is VMDK. They are different formats. It's just different formats that you use with Microsoft technology or Hyper-V technology. So basically, we will do what? We will use Virtualbox disk image. This is for Virtualbox. This is for Virtualbox. I will click on next. This is important. These two options are important for you. Why? Because if Zia's computer is 100 GB um, um, only, meaning Zia's computer only have 100 GB hard disk. If Zia wants to save space, Zia can choose between these two. Dynamically allocated, it means that Zia created a virtual hard disk which was 50 GB, but the virtual hard disk will not use all of the space. It will only use the space that you actually save files. So fixed size will do what? Fixed size will basically use the size that you actually choose. So dynamically allocated is, I think, better. Alright, so where do you want to save? Where do you want to save your virtual disk image? Right, so this is going to be your virtual disk image. Inside this virtual disk image, your server 2019 will install. Right, so if you want to change this location, you can. For example, Zia have D drive. He wants to save it on D drive. Zia can do it. If you have external hard drive, which is like good enough, you can also save it there. The performance might not be good, but you can do it because we are testing. We are just trying to learn, but we don't do that in real life. So click on next and create. That's it. The virtual machine is created. Virtual machine is created, but we still have things to do. It is like the computer is ready. but there is no operating system. Now we need to install operating system. Our hard disk is ready, our processor is ready, our RAM is ready. You can see that. This is our hard disk, this is floppy drive, hard drive, everything is ready. Now we have to install operating system. Alright, so it is now ready for the installation. Once you're done, you can see that right now it is powered off. So simply what you do is you can click on settings, and then in here you have to click on storage. You have to click on storage and remove this empty thing that you have there. Once you click on controller SATA, you see this CD sign. This is like a CD that you put in a computer. Click on this CD sign and click on add. Now you remember this is what we downloaded. This is what we downloaded from Microsoft site. Click on open, choose. Alright, so now this is there. Click on it, make it live. Make it live. Press OK. Once you're done, now we can click on start. It's like booting up your operating system. We will click on start. And you can see that it's loading file. Now it is booting from Windows Server 2019. It is going to do what? It is going to start the installation. You choose language, English, time, everything. Same. Yeah, you can. So you basically you click on so if you have a flush and you want to boot from flush, you click on settings, and then simply you have, you can see that you have this storage, and you simply have to um, choose the ISO from the flush. Okay. You remember yesterday we learned about different editions, right? Standard edition, data center edition. Standard edition is for small to medium sized businesses, but data center is for enterprise or large businesses. And you can see that we have desktop experience and one without desktop experience. Windows Server 2019 comes into two mode. One is graphic mode and one is command mode. Right? If I choose this, you will not see start menu, you will not see control panel. It is like a command line interface. Only commands. With this one, we have start menu, we have everything like you have in Windows 10. So we want to use desktop experience, so we will choose that and press next. I accept the agreement, press next. Are we upgrading or we are installing a new operating system? What are we doing here? Are we installing a new operating system or we are upgrading? So upgrade is used when we already have an operating system such as Windows 2008, 12 or any other version that is earlier operating system. But we are going to install a new operating system. It is a clean installation. That is why we will actually do what? We will click on custom, and you see the 50 GB that I chose earlier, I created earlier, is here. Now what you can do is you can simply click on next. If you want to do partition, you can do it from here, but we are not doing it. So I will simply click on next, and then what will happen is that it will install the operating system for me and the process will actually start. You can see now it is actually doing everything for me. Alright, so my operating system is now basically installed, and you can see that I have this is the welcome screen. So what you can do is you can actually click on input and then click on insert control alt delete, and then you simply type in the password. um, Make sure that any password you set up, you don't forget the password. Okay, if you forget, then you will have to recreate the operating system through this Oracle VirtualBox. So that is very important. Just make like a easy password that you will remember, but you have to use combination of different numbers, names, letters, and symbols in order to create that. I will say no on this because I don't want the sharing and other options. So basically, you can see that this is Windows Server 2019. So you can see this is Windows Server 2019. This is how it looks like, okay? So this is how it looks like. You can manage other servers from here. This is how it is when it comes to the desktop. And if you click on a start menu, this is how the start menu looks like. So very different than Windows 10, right? So very different than Windows 10 because this is a server. This is to provide services. That's why it is very much different. Alright, so it is very much different. So very different than Windows 10. So we have accomplished our task in here. The next thing that I will do is there are two other important things that we always do. Remember, when you are working somewhere, when you set up a server, there are two important things that you always do. The very first thing is you have to set up static IP address. All servers, all servers needs to have a static IP address. Do you know what is IP address? Who can explain what is IP address? What is IP address? Internet protocol, right? But what is it? Why do we use IP address? Why is it needed? It is called Internet protocol, right? So right now I am talking to you and you are understanding me. Why? Because this is the language we speak and this is the language we understand. And how do I contact you? I contact you by calling your name, right? I contact you by calling your name. When I look at you, I contact you by calling your name. And when you listen or when you hear your name, you respond. When I say Inam, you say yes. So in computers, when you want to connect them together, you need IP address. IP address is required in order to allow computers to talk to each other. So IP addresses are either static or dynamic. So the best practice and the standard is that we always set up static IP address for our servers. Our servers always requires a static IP address. That is one of the best practices. So how do we set up static IP address on a server, you see this little logo here, right click on it, click on Open Network and Internet Settings, and then you have this option Ethernet, and then change adapter settings. Once you change it, this is your adapter. Right click, Properties, and then you have this Internet Protocol version 4. Double click on it. Then right now you see it is dynamic. If you click here, now you can add static IP address 10.10.10.1. Let me see if I have IP here. Okay, I don't. So we will use 10.10.10.10 for primary domain controller. 255.255.255. Do I need default gateway here? Do I need default gateway here? No. Default gateway. Do we need it here? Do we have a router here? We don't have, because we don't have a router. Yeah, we don't have a different network. We don't have a network internet here, so we are not going to use it. How about DNS server? So when you create a DNS server for the first time, you can use its own IP 10.10.10.10 itself. Press OK. Press OK. Once you are done, now we have set up a static IP address. If I click on the start menu and type CMD, which is for what? Which is for command. Which is for command prompt. CMD. I have to, I think, wait for it because it's not showing up. Okay, it's not showing up because maybe it's going to take time. So if I click on Windows accessories, I don't have it here. Let me see if I can find it here. Windows System. Click on Windows System, command prompt. And if I type ipconfig, you can see my IP address is 10.10.10.10. What is the command if I want to see everything? ipconfig space /all. You see, it shows all the details. If you want to see all the details, you type ipconfig space /all. So, mission accomplished. What is the next thing we always need to do, which is best practice when you set up a server for the first time? One of the important thing is that we have to consider the naming convention all the time, because naming convention will allow us to track the server easily and to know about the server all the time. And naming convention is really important for all organizations. How do we do that? So basically, if I come back to my lab, you can see that KT is company name, Knowledge Train. SFO is San Francisco. Knowledge Train San Francisco. DC is Domain Controller 01. So that's how I did my naming convention. If you have a company, you're working on a company, you can do what? You can come up with a naming convention that basically works for you. So how do we change a computer name? Click on Start, type this PC. Okay, so this is this should basically work, but it's not working. So if you click on a folder, you see you have this PC. You right click, click on Properties, click on Advanced System Settings. You see this tab here called Computer Name. Click on Change and simply do what? Type your computer name. KT Knowledge Train SFO San Francisco DC01. Press OK. Press OK. Press Close. Every time you change a computer name, you have to restart. If you don't restart, the changes will not apply. So restart is important. Click on Restart. That's it. We are good to go. We are good to go. So this is step number 1 that you have to perform. If I click on Input, insert Control Delete, login. Let me show you. Now you see when I type CMD, it's working. Sometimes doesn't work, maybe because we have this Virtualbox thing here. So when I go there, if I type host name, what is the name of my computer server? KT SFO DC01. So this is the name of this server now. So that's how you do it. That's how you do basic setup for a server. So that's it for today. What we will do is we will continue from here. And today is Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have like 3 days, right? You have 3 days. So please set up such environment and make sure you have it ready when you come into your class. If you have questions, you can ask me. You can call each other. You can get help from each other, but set it up so that you know how to do it, how to create a virtual machine, how to install operating system, how to download operating system, how to assign a name, and how to assign IP address. So in our next class, what we will do is we will actually start to create a Windows 10, and then we will install domain controller here. We will join this PC to this machine, and we will do other things as required for this course. That's it for today, guys. Any questions you have, you can ask.